beginnings on.
Come on, let's change the lights. How about that? Maybe that one? Okay. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Man Takes Shoes Out of Box, the episode where you get to sit there and watch me take some shoes out of a box and tell you what I think of them. I'm hoping that lights is good. My dad, back in Aotearoa, New Zealand, has been watching my videos, and he thought he would mention to me recently that I've been looking especially pasty, peaky, and white. And so I've just changed the key lights, or one of the key lights, to a slightly more bronze tone to give me a slightly more bronze look. Hope you're liking that, Dad. Anyway, in today's episode, I've got actually a few sneakers to take out of a box for you guys. These are 3 different sneakers that I feel are going for pretty reasonable money at the moment in the resale market. They've all sold out at their respective release dates, and they're all available online for right around the £200 mark, including fees. In fact, you could probably find them for a little bit cheaper in your local markets, be it slightly used, or if you've got a reseller that is falling on hard times. So I do feel like these are all pretty reasonably priced. And I do genuinely like all of these. I mean, I like all the sneakers that I buy, but I genuinely think that these 3 sneakers, for a lot of people, could be contenders for top 10 sneakers of the year. Maybe not like top 5, or maybe some of you might think these are top 5, but I think that these 3 sneakers are all 3 sneakers that would feature on most people's lists. Maybe not, I don't know. First up, we have these, and I don't think it's too out of pocket to say that some of you guys out there, you genuine old school proper Air Max 1 heads, will likely have this sneaker as your sneaker of the year, or retro of the year, or one of the best sneaker releases of the year without question. This is the Air Max 1 Chlorophyll. Now, the sneaker celebrates 20 years of Patta, which was founded in Amsterdam in 2004. And so to celebrate this 20-year milestone, as well as to celebrate the 15th anniversary of one of the most iconic Air Max 1 colorways of all time, they've decided to retro the Chlorophylls. Nike and Patta have partnered more than 10 times over the years, including on 6 sought-after Air Max 1 colorways, making Patta Nike's longest standing and arguably most impactful Air Max collaborator. Now, the sneakers themselves are pretty simple. If you're not really into the whole history around this collaboration, you're probably going to look at it as a pretty boring, if not slightly exciting colorway. I mean, it's pretty much just white, gray, and green. But for the true Air Max 1 fans or sneakerheads, you guys will probably appreciate the fact that these are pretty close to the originals from 2009. I mean, they went as far as to try to reuse the same fabric as they did in 2009. You have the Patta co-branding on the tongue label. And one of the big updates is in the sock liner, aka the insole, where the Dutch Gilder has been swapped out for a €20 note motif. The shape on the sneakers is really nice, the materials are really nice, the QC is awesome, they come with an extra set of the green laces. But this, a little bit like the Wu-Tang Dunks, is one of those collaborative retro grails that a lot of Air Max 1 heads and sneaker heads have relished the opportunity to have a chance of copping for the low. I got these for right around £200, which is about £50 over retail. These retailed for around £145, I think, or around $160. And the 2009 Chlorophylls over the years have been in the aftermarket for crazy money. I've seen pairs go as high as £2,000 in the past. And the thing about the 2009 pairs is that even if you have a fresh pair from '09, the likelihood is the midsole is going to be crumbling or very, very close to crumbling. So even if you have an '09 pair, there's a good chance that it's going to be in desperate need of a sole swap. Whereas with this retro this year, bro, you can come up on an absolute fresh pair, ready to rock, ready to go. The next sneaker we have here is one of the best sneaker collaborations of the year, but it could almost be argued that it's been a little bit of a flop, in that it hasn't sold out everywhere in all sizes. You can still find small sizes of these for retail online here in the UK. And shopping around on the resale market, depending on what size you wear, obviously, these are going for a little bit over the retail price, which is crazy because this is an iconic collaboration between Nike and Nigo on the Air Force 3. Now, if you're relatively new to sneakers or streetwear, you might not necessarily know who Nigo is or just how significant his impact has been on the hip-hop scene, the streetwear scene, the fashion scene, and the sneaker scene over the years. Most people tend to know him for being the founder of Bape. He's currently the creative director over at Kenzo. And a lot of people, when this collaboration was announced, were kind of scratching their heads as to why Nike would be collaborating with an entity that they are currently in the midst of a legal dispute with. After all, Nike decided to sue Bape over multiple trademark and copyright infringements for shoes like the Bapester, which is the shoe that Nigo created, as well as the Courtster, as well as the Skatester. The lawsuit, funnily enough, had nothing to do with Nigo because he left Bape back in 2011. And a lot of people say that after Nigo left Bape, that's when it kind of started to go a little bit downhill in terms of its design and creativity, cultural impact, although you could still argue that Bape was one of the hottest brands out there in and around 2014 to 2017 during the Hypebeast era. The choice of the Air Force 3 model was a little bit of a divisive one because unlike the Air Force 1 and the Air Force 2, the Air Force 3 is a little bit heavier, it's a little bit bulkier, it's a little bit more tech laden, offering up a little bit more support in the ankle area, which actually made it a preferable shoe to hoop in back in the late 80s for people in the NBA. Players like Charles Barkley or Moses Malone or David Robinson were all big fans of the Air Force 3. Personally, I think it was a great choice for Nigo to go with the Air Force 3. He could have gone safe and just picked the Air Force 1 like pretty much everyone else does these days, but he went with a lesser appreciated, slightly more underrated model, and I'll definitely give him props for that. I think it was good he stayed within the lineage of the Air Force line as well, considering it was the Air Force 1 that really gave him a lot of inspiration in the first place to create the Bapester. And you can see the influence of the Bapester in these. First of all, the packaging is dope. It's inspired by Japanese manga, and this also inspired some of the promotional content for the build-up of the shoe. They do feature a really nice mixture of quality leathers, really nice chunky padded ankle collar, really nice suede material on the tongue, and you also get a little bit of suede material around the front wings of the shoe. And I actually thought there was a little bit more patent leather on the shoe, but it's really just on this blue panel here. The multicolored aspects also makes the shoe a little bit bright, a little bit vibrant, a little bit out there, and obviously plays into that Bapester aesthetic, which I really like. And you get this really chunky midsole, and the outsole is borrowed from the 88's original Air Force 3. You get the Japanese manga on the insole, and they come with some extra stuff as well. You get this Nigo pin, and you also get this Nigo patch as well. So it's a real complete collaboration. On foot, I think they look awesome. It's a really chunky, playful, out there sneaker that has some dope tie-ins to an unlikely collaborator you would have said years ago. But because this represents a true full circle moment for Nigo, and because of how much of a fan I was of Bape in the late 90s, early 2000s, as well as in the mid 2010s, to be fair, I used to love Bape. In fact, actually, I do still love Bape. Right, last up for the day, we have what some people are going to consider one of the best sneakers of the year. And for some of you guys out there, you might even consider this one of the worst sneakers of the year. This is a little bit of a polarizer because it's such a bright, vibrant, out there shoe. It is, of course, the Socony Pro Grid Omni 9 JTips collab. Now, JTips last year really broke onto the scene and disrupted the entire sneaker community with his debut collaboration with Socony on the Grid Azura 2000. You guys can see these in the background. This is such a cool sneaker. I do really enjoy wearing these. These are genuine neck breakers. People will look at you thinking, bro, what are you wearing? And people will look at you saying, bro, what are you wearing? Those are crazy. And he's kept the same type of energy with his collaborations this year. Earlier on in the year, he had a Grid Shadow 2 in a couple of colorways that were really popular, but I think a lot of people have really been feeling these. These, unbelievably, or believably, were actually the most expensive pair out of these three. I had to pay something like £220 for these, which is kind of crazy when you think about Socony having come up massively in 2023 and 2024. But the shoes themselves are dope. They're really light, first and foremost. They're really comfortable. They've got some really nice signature JTips details. It's just a really bright, really vibrant, really playful, really out there sneaker. And of course, given the trend with the mesh runners right now, these are bang on point. But I feel like this is the type of shoe that if you're fashionably inclined could be really fun to sort of match up. But if you're not very fashionable like me, you're probably more inclined to just wear these with a very simple, basic, neutral outfit and just allow these to do the singing. And these sing loud. I do think this is an awesome sneaker because it's really good to see a brand like Socony coming up, getting some traction in the mainstream, getting some play with sneakerheads. And I know a lot of you guys out there are going to want to say, bro, those are rubbish, those are gay, those are pink, you're only getting them because they're a collab. Bro, you're probably right. And there we go. Those are 3 sneakers hovering around the 200 pound mark or the $220 to $250 mark that are out there right now, available, that I think are worth it. These are awesome collaborations. I'm so pleased that we're living in a sneaker time where you don't have to pay over the odds for these types of sneakers. The first pair, the Chlorophylls, are coming deep with the history. This is the return of an absolute grail. The Nego collab is a full circle moment with an absolute legend. And the JTips is the embodiment of a real up-and-comer, someone that is disrupting the space in a really positive way with a more low-key brand. So, bro, dope. I'm loving all of these 3. What do you guys think? Feel free to let me know down below. And would you guys place any of these 3 sneakers or all of them in your top 10 sneakers of the year? Feel free to let me know. And as always, guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor, like it before you bounce, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.
Yeah. Hey, new beginnings on the cusp. Not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good karma is a must. Still my shooter in the cut. I was stuck inside a rut. Played the game, made bank, moved G.